In this video, I'm going to show you the most asked train conductor or train guard interview questions, and I'm going to show you how you can answer these questions to land a job working on the railways. So let's start with a really important question, and it's very likely there will be a question around safety, and so you need to be prepared for it. So one question they could ask is, what would you do if you saw a co-worker do something unsafe? And really, they're looking for certain things in this question, so there's a way that you can answer this that'll help you pass the interview. So the first thing you want to be very clear about is you say, I have a duty of care to co-workers, passengers, and the public. So make it clear that you understand that in this job, you are responsible for the safety of other people and you take that seriously. The next thing you say is that you maintain current up-to-date knowledge of safety procedures and the policies and best practice so that you are actually going to follow your training, and whatever is the correct policy in that situation, you're going to stick to that and you're not going to allow anything unsafe to happen. The next thing you say is that you would always intervene to ensure safety, that it doesn't matter who the person is, they must follow the safety procedures to ensure everyone's safety, and you're never going to allow unsafe things to happen when you are in charge. The next thing you say is that you would report and record the incident in line with the company's policy. So basically, what you're doing is you're making it very clear that you understand your responsibilities, that you will follow the company's policies, and that you will always do the right thing when presented with the safety issue. And that's how you pass this question. The next one is, what are the duties of a train conductor or a train guard? And this will depend on the specific role, if you're applying to work on a freight train versus if you're applying to work on a passenger transport. You're going to have to answer this slightly differently. So I'm going to give you some generic things that are part of the responsibilities, and then you can adapt that to your specific role. So for all conductors and train guards, one of the most important things is that you ensure the safety of passengers and staff and the railway as a whole. The next thing you say is that you work to keep the service on schedule, whether that's a freight service or a passenger service. You're going to try and keep that ticking along, going at the right speed, and getting everything done on time. Revenue protection is important, so you're going to ensure that anyone who is on that service has paid the correct price and has the correct ticket. You may be involved in dispensing tickets. That may be part of your role. You want to research if that is in your case. You could be responsible for supporting with loading and unloading, supervising, ensuring that is done safely. There could be an involvement in ticket checks as part of your revenue protection. You could be involved in coupling and uncoupling cars depending on the configuration of the train. The other important thing is you could be trained in first aid and be responsible for coordinating, supporting with emergency response in the event of an accident. You could be involved in pre-departure checks, report writing, operating the train doors as passengers come in and come out, and ensuring that's done safely. You could, depending on your particular train and your particular role, you could be expected to be involved in very minor repairs. You could be involved in ensuring that passenger needs are met. For example, if someone has a disability, you could be involved in supporting them onto and off of the train and during their time on the train. You're ensuring that service standards are being met. You're ensuring that passengers have a positive experience. So if there was, for example, disruptive behavior, you would be the first line of call to deal with that situation. And one thing that you can do to kind of round off the answer and just catch everything else that could be in the role is to say that generally you are ensuring the smooth running of the service. And by saying that, you're covering everything. So feel free to take a screenshot of this page and list as many of these as you can. If you start listing 10, 15 things, they're probably going to stop you and say, okay, yes, thank you. You know what you're talking about. So memorize as many of these as you can and just reel them off in the interview, and you'll be successful in this question. The next question you want to really make sure you're prepared for is, can you work evenings or weekends? And there is a simple answer to this, which is yes. You could say no. However, if you do say no, remember that you probably won't actually be hired. So it's really important that you try and say yes to this question. And that's how you answer this question. So the next question you really need to be prepared for is, why do you want to be a train conductor? And you want to have a bullet pointed answer ready and learned so that when you're asked this, you can answer it confidently and with some enthusiasm that makes them take you seriously. So let's look at some things you could say. You don't have to say every one of these. Pick the ones that you think match your interest, your experience, and show off what you want to show them. So the first one you could say is that you have an active interest in trains and the railway, and particularly if you can back that up with some genuine knowledge, that could really show good motivation. The next thing you might say for a passenger service is, I'm really good at providing good service, and you could link that to your previous experience by explaining that you've got significant customer service experience and explain the previous jobs that you've had before this that actually show that you've got the skills necessary to be good at the job. The next thing you could say is that you know people that work at the company and they've said really positive things about the company. You don't have to name them. You just can talk about all the positive things they've said and why they've recommended that this is a good role for you to apply for and a good company to work for. You may say that you're really interested in the training and skills development that the company is able to provide, and you're excited to take that opportunity. You could say that you really like working as part of a team and that you're good at working with people and you get on with people and you are an asset to any team that you join. You enjoy meeting new people because that's something that you could do a lot as a conductor. You're looking for a physically active job. You don't want a desk job. You want to be up, moving around, and keeping active. And you could say that you're looking for a job with a varied working pattern because as a conductor, you will find very variable working patterns as part of the role. So what I would do is pick as many of these as match your interests, make a list of those, and then plan an answer that you're ready to deliver on the day so that you're confident and enthusiastic. And that's how you pass this question. The next question you want to be ready for is, how would you deal with a difficult passenger? And it's very simple to answer this because you just have to say what they want to hear. So the first thing you say, and you be very, very clear about it, is that I provide excellent service to all passengers. You then say that you will always stay calm and you will always be professional, that while you're working as a conductor, you are the brand, you are the face of the company that the customer is seeing, and you need to be aware of that, and that's why you remain calm and you remain professional at all times. You would work constructively to solve any problem. So if the customer is upset or angry about something, your job is to try and fix that. The next thing you say is that you treat all customers fairly, just a simple sentence that says that. That where something has gone wrong, you listen, you empathize, and then you sincerely apologize if something has gone wrong and you work to fix it. The next thing you'd say is if the customer is aggressive or being very difficult, you de-escalate the situation, you don't yell at them, you don't make the situation worse. Your priority is keeping everything calm and everything under control. And then at the end of your answer, you say that you would follow all company policies. So for example, if someone doesn't have a ticket, the fact that they're being difficult doesn't mean they don't have to buy a ticket. They have to have a ticket to be on that service. And that regardless of how difficult the customer is being, you will always follow the appropriate policies and ensure that the service is run properly. And that's how you fly through this question. The last thing you need to prepare for is some questions that you may want to ask at the end of your interview. And don't say you have no questions, that's really negative. And I would pick 2 or 3 of these that match what you want to ask. So one you probably want to ask is, can you tell me about the next steps in the conductor hiring process? You probably want to know that, and you can reiterate why you're really interested in the role and you're eager to find out what the next steps are. You could ask, what training and development opportunities does the company provide to its conductors? You could ask about, what would you recommend I do to be well prepared for day one if successful? And if they suggest things that you could do to prepare, make a commitment to doing those things. You could ask, what would you say are the characteristics of your best conductors? And if they list things that they are looking for, you can show that how your skills and experience are a really good match for that. And lastly, make sure you sincerely thank the panel for their time interviewing you and end the interview on a positive note. So I hope this video was helpful. I wish you the best of luck in your conductor interview. And please like and subscribe if it did help you. And finally, thank you very much for watching.